Hello friends, a very good evening to all of you. Welcome you all to our second session through our YouTube channel. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for your wonderful responses, suggestions and comments. Based on the suggestions received, we'll try to definitely improve the content quality and the audio quality in the coming videos to our best extent possible. So let's get started for the day. I'm going to start with an example today. So please listen to me very carefully. Let us assume a situation wherein you're relocating from one location to another and you're engaged in the process of shifting your house. I'm very sure it's a very lengthy process, as all of you would know, and will appreciate the fact that it is a tedious process too. Let us also assume that the new house is a furnished one, which is nothing but it has amenities like TV, fridge and AC, which is of course an added advantage to you, right? So what are your roles in this shifting process? First of all, you need to carefully shift all the basic essentials from your old house to the new house. The second is that you need to make a decision on the usage of these amenities. So what are the options which are available with respect to these amenities? One is that you can choose to use the amenities in the new house as it is already available, or you can ignore the usage of those amenities and you can prefer to bring your own items, fridge, AC, washing machine, whatever, from your old house to the new house, which will involve a lot more work to you. Hope this case is very clear to all of you, because this is the basic with which we are going to build the concept for the day. So today we are going to deal with a similar provision in Ind AS. This session is about Ind AS 101, which talks about the transitional provisions under Ind AS. I am sure you understood nothing. So let me explain a little further. Earlier we were residing in the old house, accounting standards, and now we have moved to the new house, Indian accounting standards. So this involves certain guidelines to be followed. Certain exemptions and certain options are available to these companies in the process for a smoother transition. So this is all about Ind AS 101. Let's quickly see the overview of Ind AS 101. This standard prescribes the accounting principles for the first time adoption of Ind AS. So as we have already discussed, accounting principles are the set of guidelines which you need to follow during the preparation of the financial statements. So this standard gives certain do's and don'ts which you need to follow during this Ind AS transition phase. It also lays down the transitional requirements. So when you're moving to the new house of Ind AS, what are the shifting things which you need to do? What are the specific shifting requirements which you need to adhere to? So that is given in this standard. The third is a very important point. Conceptually, the accounting under Ind AS should be applied retrospectively at the time of transition. So what does this statement mean? Let us suppose a company is there which is some 30 years old. According to this statement, when you are coming under this Ind AS ring for the first time, you need to go back to 30 years, do a fresh accounting under Ind AS from that date till today. I am repeating, till today. For a period of 30 years, you need to freshly account things and present financial statements as a date. Guys, think, is it really possible? I'm sure it's a very practically impossible case. So, in order to ease this process, this standard gives certain exemptions for the retrospective application of Ind AS. These exemptions are categorized into two: mandatory exemptions and voluntary exemptions. So let me go back to the example which I have set. In our example, we have certain mandatory things to do, like moving off the basic essential items from our old house to the new house, which is a very mandatory thing which you need to definitely do, right? So there is another choice which is available to you at this juncture. So what was the choice? You can either choose to use the amenities in the old house or bring back them from the old house, or use the amenities in your new house. So likewise, we have these exemptions which are mandatory and voluntary. So mandatory exemptions are those cases where the companies are not allowed to apply Ind AS retrospectively. So it is a very clear aspect from standard that all the companies are exempted from applying retrospective Ind AS for the listed circumstances and requirements. So voluntary exemptions are cases where the company may choose not to apply certain requirements of Ind AS retrospectively. So it is going to be purely a decision of the company to decide on which of the requirements that they are not going to follow Ind AS retrospectively. So that option is provided to the companies. I am sure the categories are very clear to you. So let me move to the next slide. So please take a minute to look at these exemptions. Each are separate topic in itself, which we will cover prospectively in our coming videos. So these are the mandatory and voluntary exemptions. I'll give you a minute to go through this. So these are the second set of voluntary exemptions. There are some other points also which you need to consider during this transition phase. Even though this Ind AS gives certain exemptions on retrospective application of Ind AS, it does not provide exemptions from the presentation and disclosure requirements of the other Indian accounting standards. I repeat once again that Ind AS 101 does not provide exemptions from the presentation and disclosure requirements, so which are given in the other accounting standards, Indian accounting standards. Also, Ind AS 101 is very clear on the first set of Ind AS financial statements. So it says that it should include the following documents, which should have 3 balance sheets, 2 statement of profit or loss, 2 statement of cash flows, 2 statement of changes in equity, and related notes including the comparative information for all the statements which are presented. What is this 3 balance sheet approach? Have you ever seen a financial statement with 3 balance sheets under AS till date? The answer is, this is required as part of the first time adoption of Ind AS. Ind AS 101, you should understand, it is for the first year implementation of Ind AS. An entity is required to prepare and present 3 balance sheets, one at the transition date, the second at the comparative year end date, and third at the current year financial reporting year end date for the first time adoption of Ind AS. Also, this standard requires that an entity should explain how the transition has happened from your previous GAAP, which is accounting standards, to your current GAAP, which is your Ind AS. So basically, it wants the company to explain how it has moved from accounting standards to Ind AS. A question may now pop up. How will a user understand the impact of transition to Ind AS on its first Ind AS financial statements? Ind AS 101 clarifies that too. It gives a solution for this question too. It says that a reconciliation statement should be presented along with the financial statements. This reconciliation shall include the following. Firstly, the reconciliation of its equity reported in accordance with the previous GAAP accounting standards to the current GAAP Ind AS on the following dates, one being at the transition date and the other being at the latest period end date. Second is a reconciliation to the total comprehensive income for the latest period in the entity's most recent financial statements. Let me give you an example for understanding this transition date, comparative year end date, and the latest year end date. Let us suppose a company is covered under phase 1. So, Ind AS is applicable from the financial year 2016-17 and onwards. So, the latest reporting date would be March 31, 2017, as all of you would know. What is the comparative period in this case? It is 2015-16. So, the comparative period and date here would be March 31, 2016. Transition date is nothing but the date when you actually moved from accounting standards to Ind AS. So, here we have presented the comparative period figures also under Ind AS, which means the starting point of the comparative period would be the date on which we have moved from accounting standards to Ind AS. In this case, April 1, 2015 marks the starting point of the comparative period, and this is going to be the transition date. So what I'll do is, I'll run through a first set of Ind AS financial statements of a company to get a better understanding of the above transitional disclosures and requirements. So this is the financial statements of Reliance Industries Limited as at March 31, 2017. So the company is covered under first phase of Ind AS roadmap, which is 2016-17. So here the latest reporting period date would be March 31, 17, and your comparative period will be 2015-16. So the comparative period and date would be March 31, 2016. The starting point of this comparative period is April 1, 2015, and that happens to be my transition date. So, April 1, 2015 is the transition date for the Ind AS application for this company. So, let us go through the financial statements. As you can see, this is the first set of Ind AS financial statements. So, the company has prepared 3 sets of balance sheets. One being the opening balance sheet as at the transition date being April 1, 2015. The other being at the comparative year end date being March 31, 2016. And the last being the current year end date March 31, 2017. You can also see 2 statement of profit or loss, 2 statement of cash flows, and 2 statement of changes in equity. As we have already seen, statement of changes in equity is nothing but a reconciliation between your opening equity and the closing equity. Apart from this, you also have a note called as Note 1D, which is about the exemptions from retrospective application. So the company has given in its notes that these are the exemptions which are availed by Reliance Industries for not choosing retrospective application in these circumstances which are given below. This is given in Note 1D of the financial statements. So you also have one other important reconciliation, which is in Note 41. This Note 41 is having the reconciliation of profit and other equity between your previous GAAP and the current GAAP Ind AS. Hope this would have practically helped you understand the disclosure requirements under Ind AS 101 pertaining to transitions. I am attaching this PDF in the presentation or the video given below, or you can also take it from the net as it is a publicly available document. So we here come to the end of our break time. Please post your comments in the comment box below or get in touch with me for any other doubts. Hoping to see you all soon in the next session. Thank you all for your patient listening. Thank you and bye from Radha.